Hi everybody, I'm Steak Daddy.
And I'm Steak Mommy.
Together we're the Steak family, and you're a part of our Steak family. Do we even like steak?
We love steak.
We love steak. Today our topic is a carnivore keto diet really healthy? What do you think, honey?
I do think that carnivore diet has its benefits. I know that, when we first met, I thought my husband was crazy who'd only eat steak and, high fats like heavy cream and butter, but
when we met, I was very strict carnivore keto. I go through periods where I still adhere to a zero-carb diet.
Yeah.
But because my metabolism has healed, I do enjoy a bit more dietary flexibility than when we first met.
I wasn't on board with the whole carnivore stuff. I really didn't think, I have a background in nutrition, so I thought, he must be really constipated, or this is only going to be something that's going to work out for a certain amount of time, or also that, I thought it was a type of disordered eating for sure. I was not on board. I like more of a well-rounded, balanced diet. I still like my vegetables, my fruits. I have incorporated a lot more protein, of course, since we've met. And
as somebody who's, metabolically healthy, and we'll get into her story in another video about how she healed her metabolism. She couldn't gain weight. She was dangerously underweight.
Yeah.
But when you first saw me and saw how the diet was working for me, how did you feel when you first started eating steak kind of for the first time?
Okay, so I'm Indian. We don't really eat steak. My family.
We don't eat cow. It's like the equivalent of us eating dogs. They're disgusted by it.
My family was really disgusted by steak. They still don't eat steak. My parents are from India. They don't think that eating cow is good or good for you. I started eating more steak in our relationship, and at first, I wasn't really a big fan, but as I started eating it more, it was kind of overnight where I started to crave steak. That was when I was pregnant with my first baby, and I would say I felt a lot better on a steak diet than not.
Yeah. So even my wife, who didn't go all in as extreme as I did and still do with carnivore only for periods of time, incorporating steak still made her feel better. And
yeah, more energy. I could tell I didn't really crave a lot of other foods when I would eat steak.
Hormonal health, increased libido.
Yeah. I would say my iron levels were a lot better.
It can sound like an extreme diet to eat primarily steak and fats, but extreme circumstances call for extreme measures, right? So if you find yourself unable to lose weight, if you find yourself, either underweight or fattening easily, maybe you have no sex drive, trying a carnivore keto diet is an incredible step to take. And we're here to guide you through our community. I'm more of an extremist, meat only. My wife, background in nutrition, is more about incorporating vegetables and even fruits. But
it's really easy to cook for him because making steak and only steak is really easy. But, he was also doing steak, bacon, eggs. You were doing eggs.
Pork rinds, salami, basically anything very meat forward animal products. And then I would do like Zevia or Diet Right soda.
But you also have to do the light salt for your potassium, right? Because you're getting potassium from meat.
Yeah, one of the things I ran into was a very common problem with carnivore keto, which is electrolyte deficiency. So I felt like I was very foggy-headed, felt like I was going to die about 3 months in. And that's when I realized, if you're eating a meat-based diet, a zero-carb diet, you get virtually no potassium. A lot of people talk about magnesium, but that wasn't the problem for me. It was potassium. And I found out the best way to get that is through light salt. It's a low sodium salt alternative marketed for people who can't have sodium. But I'm big into salt, but I needed some potassium. So this is just potassium in like a salt form. And that really helps. Putting that in your water when you're deep in ketosis can alleviate fogginess and headaches.
So it's really important to be well informed when you start a new diet or a new lifestyle, just to make sure that when you're making changes, you are making sure you're getting your minerals, the vitamins that you need.
Yeah.
You're not really lacking much when you're switching over to carnivore diet, but you do have to make sure you're still getting your potassium. I would still recommend taking the magnesium as well.
And that's why we're here to guide you through this process with our Steak School community at steak.school. We'll do an intake call. We'll determine whether you need to go full-blown carnivore keto, whether you could benefit from a more traditional balanced diet. My wife's background in nutrition will come in handy.
Yeah.
My experience with extreme dieting will help too.
I don't really like the word dieting. I'm more, I use lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you're just kind of eating better. You're making better choices, and I feel like the word dieting is restrictive.
Yeah, totally.
Makes you feel like you can't eat what you want to enjoy, right? But
and that may be true for the first year for you.
Yeah.
But as you heal your metabolism, you can enjoy more flexibility. You'll be able to eat an ice cream cone. You'll be able to enjoy something.
I would recommend still enjoying your treat here and there, but he's more extreme, I'm not, and I guess it could be...
Lately I've been enjoying
exactly.
a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
But we'll guide you through all that with our experience, and we'll do it in a gentle, loving way. And, we both came from extreme situations with our health.
Yeah.
My wife, they said she'd have to use a colostomy bag.
Yeah, I thought I was going to lose my colon.
Isn't that crazy? How old were you when they told you
I was not even, I'd say 18, 19. And, a 19-year-old doesn't want a bag hanging up on her tummy, of course. But
literally, the doctors were telling her that she reversed all of that through diet.
Obviously, God heals, right? But there's a lot of changes I had to make personally. I remember when, they first put me on medication. I was on a really bad medication. Anyways, that'll be in another video.
Yeah,
but I remember asking the doctor, what can I change? What can I eat different? And she laughed and said, food has nothing to do with it. Which is really not true. Right.
I came from a background where I fattened easily.
Yeah.
I also went through a near-death experience where I became totally emaciated, lost all fat and muscle.
Yeah.
Rebuilt my body from that. So we'll do videos about all of that, but we're here to guide you through this process. I clicked the link in the description to go to steak.school. And we're excited to do an intake call with you to see what kind of lifestyle choices you can make to start living your best life.